Here we'll do a quick one today. It's just an update on the 428i Beamer. A beautiful car. I wonder if I can catch the side of this car. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So this is the hood that we put all the product on. I mean, you can see the mirror reflection. And if you see what looks like on camera, little white dots here and there, that's like little specks of a little bit of metallic or a little bit of dust. They're not really nibs, but you can see how clear the hood is. It's pretty nice. So we're going to leave this alone for a little while, and in a few weeks we'll come back and give this a little bit of buff, which should get rid of some of them little spots. They're not bad, but there's a couple. If I come down here, you can see two in the, well, it shows in the reflection. They're hard to see, but basically we'll give that a buff and those will come right off. And honestly, 99% of the world would probably be fine with this the way it is. Let's throw some light on it. Yeah, you can see my heating system and all my lights. And the wood panels on the ceiling, you can just about read. My ceilings are 12.5 feet up, so that's pretty clear. And again, we didn't go crazy with this. I did use a matrix for the color because we want that to be the same. But I used a kind of a cheap or middle of the road clear coat, this stuff right here. It goes on fine. You got to commit, make sure you put some on, and then make sure you do a full wet coat on the second pass. And pretty much what you put on is what you get. And I noticed with this stuff, it does look a little bit orange peely right away. I mean, I try to get it to where it's flat, but as it dries, it goes a little orange peely. But then as it dries a little more, it seems to settle down. Like 2 weeks later, it's flatter. So now that I know that with that product, if I have the opportunity and I don't have to send the car away. Now most cars sit for a while, but this is not a toy. This is something that somebody drives. So we'll bring it back in a couple weeks, and a half-hour buff job, maybe an hour, probably be plenty. But yeah, it looks good. The color looks okay. Of course, it always looks a little darker than the 10-year-old clear coat. But a good trick. Put a light like this, you can see the metallic content from one to the other. I mean, it's pretty close. Now this side of the car is fresher because it had been repainted, and you can see that the metallic content and everything matches a lot better on this side. But basically what we did here, in this case, I did 2 full wet coats, a base coat, till the color looked right, and you can't compare it to the car because the hood was off the car. But at the very end, I think I shot this all about 28, 29 with a regulator on the bottom of the gun. And once I got it to where I was happy and it was all consistent, and you want to make sure, like say you're spraying here and you go up, and then if you stop but you forget to let off of the air or liquid on the trigger, it'll create a different color. So if you do that, you got to come back and, you know, kind of bury and blend that in. So you got to be really careful, especially on that last coat, that it's all, you commit, you do your full medium coat pass. And we did an overlap of about 60-70% and just kept going across, and then drug it the other way. Then I caught the front edge and come up. Actually, I come up on an angle and I went all the way to the back corner to drag the wet. And what it does is, your metallic, if it goes a little funny, you don't get the weird tiger striping so much. You won't see it. Now, if you're really, really bad, you could end up putting like a crosshatch pattern in it. But I mean, I don't think that's going to be the case with this. It's make sure you're tight and you got a bit of overlap. Some of them recommend 70-75%. Some just say run 50 all over the car. Just read your TDS sheets. Make sure you do what it says. And I mean, again, within reason, repaints and all this, like, you know, it depends where you're going. If you're going to Autorama or SEMA or something like that, obviously we probably would have put another two coats, maybe clear. I would have used a high-end clear that's soft with a lot of buffability. Now, what I like with this particular clear is I find anything I put it on, especially like work truck application or a daily driver, stone chips and stuff mark up the clear, but they don't seem to chip big pieces of it off. You know, where some of the softer clears will look better cut and buffed, but then they don't take the beating. Things don't bounce off those, right? They don't absorb anything. They just chip out, or they're so soft and thin, by the time you buff them out, you can scratch through pretty quickly. You know, like Mazdas from 10, 12 years ago, I found the clear coat on those cars right from new was soft. The nice thing is you can kind of do body work on the rear quarters and stuff, blend it in, and buff it in real easy. You know, where some of them have a harder clear and they don't want to buff in. But anyway, we're pretty happy with this. Yes, it's a cool BMW, real nice car, but you know, it's a 2014. So you're looking at a 9 or 10-year-old car that's, you know, well kept up, and it's a daily driven all-wheel drive. Makes me sad to say that this beauty sees winter. I'd have had a hard time taking this out. I guess this is basically BMW's version of a Camaro or something, right? It's a two-door coupe, nice wheels, all factory. Just a little bit of tint, but with the dark color. It's called black sapphire metallic, I believe, something like that, or pearl. It's just a two-stage though, not a tri-coat. It's got a real nice interior. You can tell you're Canadian when you got one of those. But there's your dash and all the cool stuff. And it's got that weird little screen that pops up. The seats are awesome. When you sit in this car, there's a little arm that comes out of here, and it hands you your seat belt so you don't have to reach back. I sure wish my Dodge pickup truck had that. The four-door trucks aren't bad, but the two-door trucks, the pillar is so far back that, you know, you got to kind of reach for it. Yeah, it's a great looking car. Check out the window. It goes up all by itself. As soon as you touch the handle, it drops so that it doesn't pull on the seal. There's some neat features, but anyway, it is what it is. We're happy. Clarity's good. Nice cut and buff down the road, and no one will ever know that that was touched. Cheers.